Now the next thing that we want to look at is capturing the incidental footage. In our case, what we want is we want to show somebody typing in a URL, going to the website and actually entering their details in there. So we want to prepare the screen for capture. What I mean by this is, if we're using a web browser, we want to turn off anything that we don't necessarily want to share with people. So I go through and I turn off all of my additional toolbars that I don't need. I turn off all of my shortcuts and things like that, because it just clutters the screen up, to be honest. So by getting rid of everything we don't need, we keep just the essential elements on the screen. We also are going to need to size it to fit in to the Camtasia recording window. Once we've done that, we record the footage with Camtasia in exactly the same way. Then we go in, we edit it in Camtasia Studio. We do a lot more with it there. We're probably going to start zooming and panning with it. I'll show you that in a moment. And then again, we produce an AVI from Camtasia Studio. So we'll have a look at that. So we're going to be recording. We want to record our web browser. First thing I'm going to do is just resize it to fit. Again, I'm trying to just position it on the edge, although it's going to be a little bit less critical with this particular one. Now, what we want to actually capture is, if I go to something like Google first of all, I want to capture somebody typing in www.youcanlearnpianoonline.com. Oops. .com. I want to capture them typing that. Going to the website and coming in here, typing in their full name, and I'm going to type your name, and I'm going to type you@yourdomain.com. Now, one of the interesting things is, as I started typing, these drop downs are appearing. Now, because we're recording at the moment, it's not so easy to see, but if you do see them, a little trick is if you hover over them, and like I say, it's just because I'm recording, they're being a little bit mischievous, shall we say. If you can get your mouse to hover over them for the second and hit the delete key, you can get rid of them. Same in here. Okay, so now they're not there. So when I actually come to type it in, we won't get these annoying pop-ups coming in. We'll just get what we actually type into the field. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go back to Google. Now, incidentally, even though I'm based in the UK, I'll nearly always start from google.com if I'm doing something like this, just because it's more familiar to a larger percentage of people who are going to come in. Another thing here, you notice I'm logged in as me. I don't want that. I'm going to sign out. So here we are. I'm going to start my recording. Now this time we actually don't care about the audio. What we could do actually before we start is we could just turn the audio off. Okay, I'm not going to be doing any audio at all on this. I just want the video. So start the recording again. Okay, www.youcanlearnpianoonline.com. Down here, your name, you@yourdomain.com. Download now. Okay, and that's all I want. It's just 30 seconds. I'm going to stop the recording now. It's just counting up for me and I stop it. Once again, I get the preview window. So what I might do is I might actually, I'll probably zoom in and cover some of that up. Anyway, let's save this for now. You can learn piano online, web capture. Okay, that can go now. So once again, we select the recording dimensions. Let me just fit this to the screen. So what we have down here is we have our video. You can see it's just over 30 seconds long. And we've got a few elements in here. I can zoom in on it. So I want to zoom in so I can see the whole timeline. I can be more precise about where I position my cursor. Now what I want to do is at the point where I highlight that URL there, I want to be zoomed in so that I can see it, because at the moment you won't see that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on zoom and pan and take this right up like that. Okay, I'll probably go from here as well. Okay, let's have a look at that. Now, you can see that as I'm doing this, it's popping up other domains that I've been to. And I don't really like that. So what I'm actually going to also do, just go back to where that starts. Just about here. And I'm going to put a call out on. And a call out is literally just something fancy, a box, something like that. In my case, what I'm going to do is, let's go for that one. A filled rounded rectangle. There we go. Okay, style. 3D edge. Solid. Oh, we stick with that one. That's quite nice. And we're going to put in here in some text. www.youcanlearnpianoonline.com. As you can see, it's not particularly big on the screen, so I'm going to quite simply make it bigger. That's too big. Yeah, I think that works. Let's put an extra. Let's do that, and we'll highlight the whole thing here. In fact, we'll highlight it all, and let's set it red, bold, and with a shadow. There we go. I'll tell you what else I'll do. Put a colon on the end there. Okay, so what I've done now is I've nicely disguised where that drop down comes. What I just need to make sure is that we go long enough with it. So it needs to come out to there. Okay, and at this point we can also zoom back out. The easiest way to zoom out, we can just reposition the box. What I prefer to do is to just drag this scale all the way to the left, and that zooms us back out. Okay, so let's have a quick look at this from the beginning. Maybe just take that out a little touch. Try that again. Okay, that works. So now we're showing the arrow. We're also seeing the mouse come across. as the mouse gets there, we want to be zoomed in on that section. Okay, so probably about there. So we're going to add another zoom in, this time to be down here, possibly just up a little bit like that. So that's going to make it nice and big. Remember, we're going to be fitting it inside that that screen. Okay, so let's just have a quick look. Okay, so that moment, as we click, we're going to zoom it back out. Okay, that's fine. Fairly straightforward at the moment. Okay, so that's all we need. If I want to, I could shorten this. Let's say I only want 30 seconds. And actually, I believe we need significantly less than that. But let's say we only want 30 seconds. I don't need this just sitting at the end. So what I'm going to do is click this button here to split it, and then I can select that and just delete it. Okay, so now our video is just 30 seconds. So whilst we're in here, I'm going to show you another few interesting things, particularly with the callouts. One of the callouts that I really love is this sketch motion. So we've got this oval here, and if we just make it a bit smaller, so let's say we want to highlight this. Now what I want to show you is what happens when we play this. See, it actually sketches the oval for us. Oops. So you see that? It draws it as if we're sketching on the video screen whilst we're talking. Okay. Instead of that one, if you go for the box, same kind of idea. Actually draws the box for you. And obviously the arrows. Oops, we'll get rid of that one. So sketch motion arrow. So we draw an arrow and we draw an arrowhead. So these can be really useful. They can really add a lot of visual interest into your presentations and your videos. Some other things that are quite useful. We'll just get rid of that one so I don't forget about it. Let's say you don't want somebody to be able to read what's in here. Okay, maybe this is highly classified. Maybe you're typing in a password or something as part of a demo. What you can do is you can select the blur callout, and as you can see, it does what it says on the tin. Blurs the secret text there. Okay. So you see that's blurred. No, it's not blurred. Similar idea is if you, instead of blur, you select highlight. What it does is it makes that more important by just fading out the rest of the screen. Okay. You can make it just a color highlight. So if we select that and select, say, yellow, see, it just highlights it as if you put a marker over it. Yeah. So there's quite a few things. One that's quite interesting is adding on keystrokes. So let me just get rid of this. So you might want here someone to come here and press Control Alt and End. Let's see if that works. There we go. So Control Alt End, and it actually pops up like that, which is quite nice if you want to tell somebody what they have to press. Okay. So you tell them, you're saying to them in the soundtrack, press Control Alt End for whatever function, and you can bring those keys up and then fade them out again. So there's quite a bit that you can do in here. You can cut things. If you do cut it, so let me just put a cut in here. So we've now got two frames, one after the other. We can put a transition in between them if we want to, just like we saw in Windows Live Movie Maker. So we can drag down a cube, rotate, and if we get rid of that, we go back to the clip bin. You can now see in here, we're coming in, we've got the cube rotate, we're coming into the next frame. Okay. We actually don't want that. I'm going to delete that and rejoin them. So there's a lot that you can do in here. You can play with audio. I wouldn't. We're going to, hopefully you've got your audio nicely done already in Audacity. If we do need to fine-tune any audio, we're going to do that later. So for now, we've got everything that we want. So I'm literally just going to, exactly as we did before, save the project. You can learn piano online web. And then we're going to produce and share. We can go through the same thing as we did last time using the custom production settings. I've actually produced one already for no audio. It's just going to give me a 1280 by 720 AVI file. And we'll leave that rendering.